Once the world's largest automobile manufacturer, General Motors shares has fallen over 50% since its peak valuation. GM's net income in 2024 was $6 billion, a 41% decrease compared to 2023. GM's dramatic decline represents one of the most significant corporate downfalls in American history. Founded in 1908 by William Durant, GM grew to dominate the automotive landscape, controlling an impressive 60% of the US market at its peak. However, this automotive giant that once made more than half the vehicles on America's roads by the 1950s would eventually crumble under its own weight. The company that once made a car for every buyer forgot how to make cars that most people wanted to buy, requiring a $50 billion government bailout with no guarantee that American taxpayers would recover their investment. So in this video, we will explore the factors led to GM's decline. In the automotive sector, innovation determines survival. Only companies constantly evolve to meet changing consumer preferences, regulatory requirements, and technological advances will survive. Although GM was the technology leader until the 1950s, attitudes changed dramatically afterward. The company lacked the go-to idea personality necessary to work through challenges with creative solutions. Instead of embracing change, GM feared trying new ideas, operated with obsolete technologies, and made short-sighted business decisions, such as not replacing faulty ignition switches. Fundamentally, GM focused on growing market share rather than creating sustainable positive cash flow. Meanwhile, competitors seized opportunities GM ignored. Japanese manufacturers viewed better fuel economy, safety, and efficiency as competitive advantages. While GM continued producing gas guzzlers, Toyota revealed the super-small 56 mile-per-gallon Toyota IQ. Tesla focused exclusively on developing electric vehicle patents, whereas GM diluted its efforts across both traditional combustion engines and electric propulsion technologies. The consequences were devastating. From controlling approximately 50% of the US market and being the world's most profitable company in the 1950s to 60s, GM's market share plummeted to 16.8% in 2024. Product mismanagement became a hallmark of General Motors' decline, with outdated models remaining in production for too long while competitors refreshed their lineups at a faster pace. GM's vehicle development process spanned nearly 4 years compared to competitors completing theirs in just 24 to 36 months. This sluggishness left GM perpetually behind market trends. Consequently, the company retired once iconic brands, including Pontiac, Hummer, Oldsmobile, Saturn, and Saab. More recently, GM announced the discontinuation of the Malibu after nearly 60 years, and the Camaro, leaving Chevrolet with only trucks, SUVs, and the Corvette in the American market. In today's market, GM faces pressure as Chinese manufacturers produce affordable electric vehicles abroad while Tesla dominates US EV sales. Notably, the company could lose additional market share due to its lack of hybrid vehicle offerings. Even in interior design, GM falling behind competitors. By 2020, decontenting became synonymous with GM as the company removed quality from parts customers couldn't easily see. This cost-cutting approach had serious consequences. GM recently recalled nearly 600,000 vehicles for potential engine failure, and investigations identified 28,102 field complaints related to engine failures, and the company could have prevented the infamous ignition switch issue by spending just 90 cents more per car. Cutting corners also increased manufacturing complexity. The proliferation of vehicle parts required more suppliers and plants, making quality control increasingly difficult. Ultimately, GM's persistent decontenting strategy damaged both reliability and brand loyalty, accelerating the company's downward spiral. In 2025, tariffs imposed by the Trump administration became another significant burden. GM projected these would increase costs by $4 to $5 billion annually. The company cut its profit forecast by more than 20%, from $11.2 to $12.5 billion down to $8.2 to $10.1 billion. Additionally, supply chain disruptions severely impacted operations, with GM facing potentially 200 unique global supply chain disruptions weekly. The semiconductor shortage proved particularly damaging, described as the most complex and challenging crisis the automotive industry has ever seen. Ultimately, these supply chain problems consumed up to 45% of GM's annual profitability, further eroding its already precarious financial position. Throughout GM's struggles, executives consistently displayed an aversion to necessary risks. When Ed Whittaker Jr. became chairman, he immediately recognized the problem, telling employees, "We're not going to make it if you won't take a risk." This reluctance to embrace change was exemplified by former CEO Rick Wagoner, who accumulated losses exceeding $85 billion before declaring bankruptcy in 2009. The managers whose primary motivation was mere survival rather than innovation. In essence, GM's executives operated with a sense of entitlement that distanced them from customers. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Hit the subscribe button and like this video for more such content.